All right. So looking at, we're gonna start from Monday, right? Because we haven't done Monday. It is so we're gonna do Monday to Tuesday, right? So as we know, looking at the 4 hour, EU is still bullish, right? What do we have? We had the sweep of these lows, very nice liquidity sweep. Then we had a nice bounce, very nice setup. If you did enter right there. Well, anyway, I'll drop down to the 50-minute, and we're gonna look for areas of potentially buys, right? We see that we have a nice little chart flip right here on the 15-minute. Um, so we're gonna keep this POI in mind, right? I want to refine this on the 3-minute. Gonna be like this. I'll take the wick with it. Don't want to refine too much. So yeah, looking at the 50-minute right now, we have cleared these highs. Looks like a decent liquidity. We also have this supply chain right here, which was behind from news, which broke multiple structures. But yeah, so essentially we're still bullish, right? But we always want to keep in mind where price is reacting from, and as we see it reacting from this POI right here. So looking at the 5-minute, we also have this order block right here, POI, whatever you want to call it, so which is also valid. So we're gonna of course wait till Asia and then see what's up. But we could look for continuation buys once these highs getting cleared. Let's see how it goes. Um, so what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna wait either until these highs get broken or until we come in towards POI, right, which is this one. I also want to mark down the liquidity right here. Always got to keep in mind the liquidity because essentially the market moves off that, as we've spoken about multiple times. So what do we see right here? We have this chalk flip before our POI, so we know that this is inducement and that price will sweep the lows. We'll see if we see a small bounce, and then we could take a potential entry. Let's see. So as you see, the chalk flip POI is having a fake bounce, fake break of structure, as you expected. Now prices towards our POI. Now since we mitigated this deep and we swept this liquidity, I wouldn't take this POI. And if you ask me why, is I would want a straight bounce from here, and that is just because you go this low, which is only half a pip away from this liquidity, this that liquidity, and also 4 pips away from that. So I just know for a fact that prices sooner or later gonna go towards the liquidity. So I'm not taking any entries. I might look for an entry once this high gets cleared, right? We have that short flow, and if it doesn't, then I'm not interested. Or we could even see you know, small one like that, right? That will also work. Looking at the 15-second, maybe we could see a chalk flip right there. Um, this is not really a chalk flip, so no entry for me. So let's see. Price comes to retest. So it looks like this high is all actually gonna break, which is quite interesting. So now we're gonna see. I'm not gonna take a limit entry right here. I'm gonna take a market if price bounces. Just because the fact that I wanted the actual chalk flip right here and not this one, because this is like a small one, right? So let's see. Also London Open, so that's gonna be very cautious because usually on London Open we see liquidity sweeps, and as we have that liquidity here in mind, we could easily see that get taken, right? So that is also very important to see on session opens. So once I see this fake bounce right here, it's gonna be kind of hard, right? This is not a bounce, so I have no entry here. This is not mitigated inside my POI. Even if I took the whole candle, it did not mitigate my POI, so I'm not interested in that. So I think that will easily take those liquidities, right? Take this one as well, and then take this low as we spoke about as well. So we'll see. So no entry for me though. Looks like we're forming more liquidity, which is better, right? Could see a bullish fuming move happen straight after we sweep those liquidities, which is gonna be nice. Um, yeah, as you see price consolidating in a demand zone, it's not any good, right? That's usually what I don't like. I like the demand zone should be quick and effective, right? Bounce and go straight, right? There's no point for the demand zone to be consolidated in, right? So and we did it all this bullshit. What do we expect? We expect if you look at this three, maybe the 5 minute will be easier, right? We expect these liquidities to get taken, and then we could see potential buys, right? Or we're gonna wait until this PY. But for now, we're not looking to buy until this liquidity gets taken. And then for the continuation buys, we want to see these highs get cleared or even these highs. So we'll see about that. So what do we see? We see a lot of liquidity being formed like this. We have this sweep, right? But you don't sweep the low, which tells me that we're gonna go lower sooner or later because price doesn't go this low and then doesn't sweep this, because if it was gonna bounce from here, it would have bounced already right here, right? Because it's also the mitigation. So exactly as expected, we're coming down. Now we're having that fake bounce right after that sweep, but as we know, there's more liquidity here, so we're not interested to buy yet until we sweep those lows. No sweep yet. This is just inducement, right? This is no sweep yet. Exactly, no sweep yet. So we're not in. Even if it breaks this high, we're not getting in. That's just a whole fake. Yeah, right. This is just a whole fake for people that are not accurate, right? So that's why, yeah, there's our mitigation. So what I expect, if we break above these highs, then I would market enter right trade. And this is just because this is not this is not based off liquidity, right? I mean it is, but it's based off this 5 minute demand we have. And then we had the London open liquidity. We had the form here, right? The first hour of London, 1.5 hours was very choppy, consolidating inside the demand zone, which is bad. Then we this is the zone, that caused the low to break for potential take profit. um but yeah, so we had this demand zone got mitigated. You had a fake bounce, you reacted from kind of nowhere, you swept liquidity, then you came down, you broke these lows, you took those liquidities. So now we expect upwards movement, right? So once this candle closes above, so like this is where I'm entering market, right? Stops below the low, potential take profit. I'm looking at these highs, or let's look at the 50 minute. Looking at the 50 minute, we could see a take profit at this supply zone. I take the supply zone big because we could easily see a reaction. So I would possibly take profit here, right? This would be a 1 to 7. You can always refine the supply zone and take profit like this. That's also fine. 7 point, let's say 7R, right? Spreads and all that stuff. So let's actually make it 7R with spreads. So let's see how this. So okay, so let's say 6.5R. So let's see how that goes. Let's go on the 1 minute to analyze what price is doing, right? So what do we see? Now we see that we create that 1 minute chalk flip. So we could potentially see price come back here for a re-entry if it does. And if it doesn't, then that's no problem for us, right? Okay, so once we break structure right here, we're gonna go break even on our first position. And we could actually look in for some potential, we could look for potential scale-ins, right? So what we're gonna do now is just wait and see potential scale in, and where could this scale in be. This would be my demand zone that I identified, right? So we have this break of structure, and since we are in buys right after liquidity, we know that we are in bullish continuation, right? So I could set a limit right here. Let's take it to this top because we have spreads, and then take profit right here. That would be a 10R, let's say. Now let's see if price respects us, right? And what I would most likely do is put my second positions stop loss below this as well. So stop loss here as well. This meaning that the scaling, what I just did is, I'm up for example 2R, right? If price comes down and takes both trades out, then I'm gonna end up break even because one position was already in profit, and this one just hit stop loss. So this is about 1 hour, let's say half an hour. So you're losing 0.5, 0.2% maybe because you had the scaling, right? So, and of course, price could then hit your stop and run upwards. So your original position would be correct and your break even would be fine. But that's the risk you're taking, because then instead of risking 1%, you're risking 2%, which also means you're gonna double your profits, right? So that's something you could do. You don't have to, but that's just something to keep in mind, right? So let's see what price is next. So we have a nice break of structure right here. Now, of course, you're not taking this demand zone because we have this demand zone already, and this is not really like this is not really one I would take, right? Just because this would be probably be early buyers liquidity, and this is actually quite nice because you have liquidity getting taking and then bouncing from here, which is gonna make them pissed, right? Because they were on the correct side of the market, but they were just too early, right? So that's my idea, and of course, price could bounce here. I won't miss my entry because I'm already in, so I'm not scared, right? But if I do miss my entry, then that's fine because I don't lose money by missing entries, right? You only don't realize profits, that's all. So you have that bounce. Now you see, doesn't look like a good bounce, does it? Yeah, exactly. So there's a low, you get tapped in, very nice. Good reaction. Now once this, for example, once this broke, right? Once this broke, you could have even entered market right here, right? And then have stops below the lows and then have the same setup, right? That's what you could do. If you were not taking a limit, if you would have taken it less riskier, let's say you get filled up here, 10R stop. Yeah, let's take it 8R, right? I'm actually like making the stops a shit bigger to make it realistic because you're getting filled probably way higher. But right here, you're not getting filled here because no prop firm is gonna fill you this good. And then with the stop loss, it's the same thing, right? So now you would have 3 entries. Now, of course, the first one is a better entry because you're taking a limit. This is just less risky. So let's see what happens. Once these highs clear, I would go break even. So right here, I'm break even on all 3 positions. I would not enter all 3 positions myself, but this just shows that you could have had 3 entries in this whole run, which is gonna happen in my opinion. Of course, we could end up back to break even, but personally, you could take scale, you could take some profit, etc., etc. But I'll mostly go for full profit or when I'm just happy with the profits, right? So let's see what happens. We'll just let the trade run. You could even look for more scale-ins. It's always possible. What do you see? You see a break of structure right here. You see this demand zone left behind. And how do you identify this as a break of structure? You have all these 3 highs, broke structure very nicely. You could take another scale in right here. It's actually quite simple. If you know where the market is going, which is going to be up for us, it's very simple setups. And now what I could do is I could actually put all my stop losses below here. And I could actually risk 2% now because I have, let's say, two positions in profit, right? I'm running like 5% in profit. And if I risk 2% and my stop is going to be here, then I'm actually ending up in profit, but I'm able to risk more, right? So that's the whole point of it. Now let's see. See the fake bounce, right? This is inducement. Let's see if you get filled. It's gonna be tight. Oh yeah, that's a fill. That's a beautiful reaction. Your break even. So look, that's the art, right? That's the art what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, bro. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful setup. This is actually beautiful. What is this? This is like perfect setups. These are just perfect setups, yet so simple, right? So this is I should actually post this in Discord because they were so good setup. So we have this one. Um, I should actually make them smaller, right? So we'll take it like this, right? No, I need like this, and then we have this one as well. So this is 6, 7, 8, 14, 24, 32 hour and just one trade, right? Which is crazy. Who's this? Plus 32 hour. That's actually crazy, right? This is just the art of continuation, bro. This is just simply continuating the buys. And this is you're done for the whole week. You're simply done for the whole fucking week. That's gonna be it, right? But of course, I wish I traded Monday because if I see this, I didn't trade Monday because it was bank holiday, and this just shows that the price action was actually fucking clean, and it doesn't matter what session you trade, right? Because this is taken in somewhat in London. The second setup is also taken somewhat in London. The third setup is also in London, and the fourth setup, which is right here, is taken on New York kill zone, right? So it doesn't matter what time you trade, either London or New York, you're gonna have banging setups. So we have 32R, right? That's very humongous. And I said 32R because it's probably more, right? But since we're just gonna consider the what is it called? Since we're gonna consider the spreads and all that stuff, we're counting at 32R. But if there were no spreads and shit, it would probably be 40 plus R, right? But now what do we have, right? We have mitigation of the supply right here. So since I have, take it like this, since we actually took very good profit, our profit was right here, and price didn't only run 5 pips more and then rejected, which is nice to see. Now what I'm looking at is, since I've had a very good day, well, we could still look for positions, but since we're at a supply, I wouldn't buy yet, right? I wouldn't look for continuations yet. I would look for price to settle a little bit. Now it's also quite late, and we see that we have some news in a little bit. If you check right here, what is this? PMI, and we have news on, what is it called? So you actually have news um on, what is it called, on bank holiday, right? Which is gonna be tricky, right? So what do I expect? Actually, since there is gonna be news, I expect price to move down. Like, let's be honest, you have price being 30, only about 1 hour front, being inside a supply. Let's see if we find a setup. Let's see if we find a setup in the 1 minute. If we do, then I could look for a sell, and this only because there's news. And if there was no news, I wouldn't sell, but only there's news. Because with news, I could take quick profits fast, right? So what do we have? We have a chalk to the upside right here. We don't have a chalk to the downside yet, but I think we'll see that very, very soon. So we have a chalk to the downside now as well, right? So what do we see? We have the chalk flip like this, which is gonna be, break to the upside, or we could even call the liquidity sweep to the upside, then one to the downside, right? It's whatever you want to call it, right? Now I'm looking for a scaling, right? I mean a sell. I would prefer this zone right here, which is gonna be the extreme. I could also take a very basic sell based off, the breakup structure here, and based off these liquidities, because I see kind of double tops right there. Could be something to consider, but if I see a reaction from somewhere here, then I could maybe take a sell, right? Now, what do I see? So this is the reason why you could have entered. Right? You saw liquidity inducement, but personally, I wouldn't enter this if I'm going to be honest. Since it's, let's see, right on news, right? So this is 1558, 1559. So price actually comes back to supply, kind of, right, where you cause a break of structure. You could take a market limit entry here, right? Have a stop like this and take like a one lot entry, right? Like just a one lot entry, and then aim for something crazy, which is gonna be these lows. It's a 4R trade, right? You could even aim for these lows, which I doubt are gonna be taken. But you could aim for this, or you could just aim for the demand zone right here, right? If you look at the 3 minute, we have a nice little demand zone right here left behind from CPI. So I would target right here. Just a one lot sell, right? And this is just because news. If there was not news, I would have never entered this. But just because there's news and we're trading inside a 4 hour supply, I think, or 15 minute supply, this is an entry you could take. Of course, this is risky. You have a 7, let's say you're risking 0.1%. Your most likely most loss is gonna be 0.5% if you get slipped 5 times. And if you don't, you're about making 0.6, 0.7%. So that's very good profit, right? So let's actually see what happens next. Yeah, so I mean, do I have to say anything? I don't think I have to, right? 1 hour straight, just with news. This is the power of news, right? If this was a normal setup, it would probably take way longer. But since it's news, it goes way faster, right? So that's 49 pips caught in about an hour, which is beautiful. Now since it's lunch and it's gonna be lunch and then it's gonna be Asia, so we're gonna wait till Asia. I don't trade after lunch. I don't think you should. You could trade US 500 and stuff after lunch, but since London closes at 5 o'clock and America goes into lunch, the volume dies on EU, right? So I'm not looking for any setups. Now we are inside this POI, so I could expect price to move off this POI, and if it doesn't, I could look for a setup. But if it doesn't, then I'm just waiting. So I probably don't expect anything till Asia, right? Okay, so now what do I want to see? We break these highs. So now I'm looking in the 1 minute. And once we break those highs, I'm gonna look for continuation buys, right? Okay, so now what do we see? We see a nice little breakout structure to the upside. Um, could look for an entry at this demand zone right here, right? So let's see. Let's set a limit right here. Stops, well, let's say 2.5. And then take profit would take this right here, this liquidity. Or let's look at the 50-minute. Oh yeah, we could take this. This will look a little bit better. And of course, if profit hits before a sell, then we're not entering, right? So let's see. Okay, so we actually see a way bigger move than expected. Where could we look for a potential scale in? Maybe here. Let's see. But I would market this, right? Because price has been off here for a while. So I would be entering a market right here if I do get an entry. I'm gonna delete this limit because I'm gonna be asleep anyway. You want to be a little bit realistic with your entries, right? Inducement, tap in. Okay, that's a nice tap in. What I would want to see is break of these highs, then a retrace. Could be nice. So what you would want to see was chalk to the downside, to the upside, and then that was an accident. Oh, we gotta go all the way back. That's painful. So yeah, let's scroll a little bit back. Okay, so we don't get the break above. Now we could mark this liquidity. If it gets potentially taken, then we could look for entry. What the fuck is that? 630. Green. I don't know. Like, nah. There's no really no really entry here. But let's see what happens next. Right now, what do you see? You see actually a move to the upside. That's actually a weird candle. If we're still in bullish momentum, right? We're still bullish. If price breaks above this, then we could look for a buy setup, to be honest, because we had sweep of these lows. We had then generate liquidity more here, tap in somewhat the supply zone, come back, break these lows, sweep that liquidity, sweep that once again. 15 second, what is? Yeah, so you have a chalk to the downside, right? And if you have one to the upside, you're entering market right there. Or yeah, this is actually quite perfect, right? You have a chalk flip and you have the retest. So with 100% enter right here, um, even when the high breaks, like if you're a 1 minute trader, right, you could enter right there, targeting these highs you marked previously. And then I'm also gonna show a 1 minute entry. A very good bounce. And there's a break of the high. Same stop. Although I would target a little bit higher, to be honest. Let me see on the 15 minute. There's gonna be a better target for the 5 minute. Um, Probably this. This liquidity right here would be a good target in my opinion. So yeah, these are the two setups we have, right? So what do you have? 1 to 12 and a 1 to 4. See, that's the difference of the 15 second. The 15 second was actually quite perfect. You had that 15 second chalk flip right there. Beautiful retest. Now let's see what happens. But once this high breaks, you would look for a break even, right? Possibly, or maybe not. Depends really. Or if you look for a scale and then, so we have a breakup structure, right? So you would look for this demand zone for a possible scaling, and then have all your stops below this low, right? So if you didn't catch any of these, you could look for this, right? Since you're in that continuation right now, right? Of going uppers, uppers, uppers. This is a little bit better setup. Now let's take a 2.5 realistic. Okay, we got the top end. If your market enter right here, right, you would have got on filled here. Stops below the wick, then same TP like this. So that's what 1 to 4, 1 to 12, 1 to 7, 1 to 6. Let's see. We actually come back to this demand, which is nice to see, right? Because essentially, we're a bigger structure, so the damn, yeah. So there was price flying off, crazy. Uh, Close to TP, didn't hit it yet. There it is. So that's another setup, which is let's say 13, 4, 16, 7, 23, 7. That's 30R once again, right? That's just that's just this just shows that continuation is really OP. Like it's simple yet so like people really underestimate the power of scalings and just continuations. So now what do you see? We have swept these 15 minutes. This so I expect a retracement towards right here. Could we see or right here, right? So let's see. Let's move that. Okay, so what do you see? We actually see that we went way lower than expected. Now we had that bounce after sweeping liquidity, which is nice. Now what do we expect? We're gonna look at the 1 minute. Since we had that bounce, which is nice, we're gonna see potential what is it called? We have news. Hmm. We have some news right 11 o'clock. So looking at the 4 hour right now. Also gonna mark uh still maybe the 1 hour for clear demand zone, which it would be right here. Right, we have a demand zone right here. Because looking at this, I might see price drop lower after news, to be honest. Um, so what do we see? Price right here, right? Price is at a previous breaker block, I guess. We could see price reject from here. So let's see action. I wouldn't take an entry, but we could see easily price retrace. So news happened, nothing really real, like nothing really crazy happened. Okay, so price went lower as expected. Now let's see. We're gonna wait for a POI or we're gonna wait for price to break these highs. Right? Until then, we're not looking for any buys yet. Or we need to form some new highs on a 3 minute and then come back, then respect somewhat the demand zone, which is gonna be right here. If we respect this, then I would look for continuation buys. Um, so we're trading inside this. We're kind of respecting it. So news are around the corner as well. So I'm 100% taking a buy right here. But it doesn't matter where we're at, right? I'm taking the buy 1 minute before news. So let's see. We see this, right? We see this right before news. So I'm taking an entry right here. Let's say taking a 7 pip stop, right? TP would be this high or even something in terms of here. This is what I would take, right? And it is because we're inside a demand zone and there's new around the corner, right? News. I would probably take a manual. I don't know. Would I take a manual exit? Um, I'll probably move my stop a little bit more. Like I don't want to get stopped up before news, right? Yeah, exactly. So where was my stop before? Let's see. So yeah, I would have been safe anyway. So it looks like news is on our side as expected. And we are bullish. We could see continuation bias once we break these highs. Okay, so we break these highs. But this is just simple, right? We knew that we were bullish, right? Because we were inside a demand zone. Then what we saw was price sweep liquidity before news on these lows, and then we saw just buy, right? Of course, there's a risk that you are getting slipped or getting stopped, but that's the risk you're taking, right? And I actually took this sum by myself. I actually took two stops before this. So I took two stop losses right before this happened, and then I made around 4.5 grand, which is 9% on this setup alone, which was nasty, right? And I actually had a scaling right when news pop, like right when so there was a little spike right before news, and this is when I had a second entry, and it filled me a little bit above. It filled me at like 465, no, at 498, but still was a W, right? So we're just now gonna wait for trade to hit TP, and since it's after lunch, we're not waiting for any setup, just hitting TP. That's all, and then we'll see Asia going in. Right, so we'll skip to Asia as well. Probably hitting TP anyway. 1 to 8, very nice setup. We also post this, but delete this. So there is +8. Um, so now we wait till Asia, right? So let's go on a 3 minute. And we know that we are bullish, so we're looking for the bullish continuation bias. And on Asia, I want these highs to be cleared, then we could look for continuation bias. And if it doesn't, then we're not buying yet. So before Asia, we're breaking those highs, but we want to see these highs being held. Okay, we have a break of structure right at Asia open, which is nice to see. Now let's see if you get an entry on the 1 minute. Preferably get another break of structure because the POI is pretty far away, I'm not gonna lie. Let's see. There's a break of structure, very nice. Now we have this. Setting a buy limit right here. Simple continuation, right? Target target these highs. 1 to 9 if it hits. So coming back. Not a break of structure yet. Looks like there's a break of structure. So now we're looking for here as a scale in, canceling this limit. So yeah, taking a limit right here. And then same TP as well. That's a 1 to 5, not bad. But gotta keep this in mind, right? Because we could see potential this zone still be valid, right? You always want, whenever you mark a zone but you cancel your limit, you want to make sure that you keep the zone in mind, right? Because the price, we could hit our stop loss right here and then bounce from here, right? That's, we could be inducement, we could be liquidity. So you want to make sure that if price bounce from the second demand, you know where you're at, right? Um, so we see inducement, nice tap and good reaction. Once his highs clears, we're break even. High doesn't clear yet. So yeah, once you see that wick, you're going break even. Because if essentially this is a liquidity sweep, we don't want to be swept with it, right? So let's see. So you're out break even. You don't FOMO buy in. Yeah, exactly. That's a good capital preservation. Now, since I know that we swept liquidity right here, if we don't go higher now, I'm market entering, limit entering here. And why is this? Because simply now looking at this, people think that the internal structure is bearish, right? They're looking for sells. They're trying to sell from this POI, which is the supply that caused demand to fail. They're trying all sorts of stuff because they think we're bearish, right? So I'm looking to buy right from here to counter against them and possibly look for a buy, right? Which is going to be right here. Now let's take a 3.5 pip stop, let's say. You know, we want to keep the spreads realistic. But this was break even. So we're considering, what do we consider here, right? First of all, we have this fake demand zone. This is liquidity one. We have sellers who think we're in a bear structure. This is liquidity two, right? Because essentially we see a reaction from this supply zone, right? You have this big supply zone right here. So people are trying to sell, right? Which is normal, right? But we are bullish on the higher time frame, so we don't care about the sells. So we're looking to buy right from here. So let's see if our bias is correct. This will also prove if being a buyer or a seller are smart or not, right? So let's see. Let me see, where's my entry? Right here. Fucking mic is doing crazy shit. So yeah, let's see. So you actually sweep those liquidities, but you don't get a mitigation of that supply. If it did mitigate inside that supply, then I would probably be a little bit trickier on taking this buy. But since I see this as liquidity, I just know this inducement. If we do manage to get a reaction here, then we would still be a major profit. So that's very fine for me. Let's see. Damn. Yeah. Well, there's a bounce as we expected. Actually, quite a nutty zone. Now, as you know, you would take the limit as 146 because spreads rate, and since it's Asia, I would probably take 147. You would get filled. You would, because spreads would be 146. Otherwise, sounds so trash. Let me go back to here. So you would be filled, yes. Even on the market reaction, you would enter right here after seeing price break those second high, as we speak about a lot. Same TP 5R, actually same routes to reward, but this is way safer, right? So let's see how that goes as well. We have the breakup structure. Now let's see, maybe we could see a small little scaling, to be honest. Um, right here. Is it worth the risk reward though? It is, it is. For R, I would take it any day. So yeah, we don't get our entry, unfortunately. Actually, we see breakup structure and respecting this, but that's fine. So this is 10R right here. Very clean setup. Post this as well. So you see actually this week, if you took all trades with 18, 48, 80R, right? 80R call with no stop loss yet, which is crazy. It's actually crazy if you think about it. So it's actually pretty early right now. Now we're inside this POI, right? So we're still expecting somewhat of a reaction. We could sweep those highs as well and then come back down. So we're still expecting somewhat of a reaction. So I'm gonna wait a little bit and see what's gonna happen with price. Now we have this breakout structure, but since we're inside a POI, we're not gonna enter. But what do I see right here? If price comes back now, I'm gonna take an entry market right here, limit right here. Why? Because it leaves double top liquidity. So I would take a limit like this, um, and TP here. I would not take this because it's already mitigated. But if price comes back, then I would possibly look. So yeah, price goes to take profit without hitting us, which is fine. It happens. So let's forget about this. Let's keep this demand in mind though, always want to keep those demand zones in mind. So which demand zones do you have right now? I would probably look for a 15-minute demand zone right now, which is gonna be right here. Let's move to the 3-minute. We find that nice little refinement. That is fine. Could see a bounce right here. Could also see a bounce from this POI. So we're gonna see. We're gonna consider both POIs, right? And you could take a limit of both, or you could just market enter. It's just personal preference. But if you're able to risk, let's say you made 80R this week, then you can take a limit on both entries. That's very fine. So let's see what happens. We have some EU news. Maybe we see volatility. Yeah, EU has never volatility. I don't know. Like on EU news, right? So we actually see this POI right here. Sweep the lows and then have a nice little bounce. Good to see. We want to see these highest breaks for continuation buys, right? Okay, so our POI gets respected. What is this? This is news, I guess. Our POI gets respected. Very nice. Then what do we see? Price trade here. Price break structure to the upside. Let's see. I want to enter pre-news, right? 1 minute before news. And if you trade somewhere around here, even if it's below or even if it's a little bit above, I'm entering market, right? Because I know we're inside a zone. And this is the risk I'm taking. Of course, it could dump here and then bounce up, but that's the risk I'm able to take because I made a lot of profit this week, let's say, okay? So what do you see? I don't really care what happens right now. I just wait 1 minute before news. So what is this? This is news, right? So actually, let's go one candle back. So you have a sweep right before news. This is when you enter. Let's say right here, standard 4 pip stop, right? Because price shouldn't go move higher. Take profit. Let's look at a since which news is this? Let's see. PMI. The PMI is quite volatile, right? Since PMI is this volatile, I would take profit at these highs, or even no, I'm taking profit here. I don't want to be too greedy. Let me look at the 1 hour. Maybe we see maybe a 15-minute supply there. Yeah, let's take that. So we have some liquidity and some supply, right? And you know what's actually crazy is that I'll explain in a little bit. So this is the setup I'm taking. Where the fuck did it go? Where did my setup go? But anyway, I'm taking. We took a 4 pip stop and then target this, right? So yeah, this is what I would take, right? We got filled here, yeah. So yeah, there's the news on our side. Now let's see what price does. Looking good, right? Oh yeah, and we are also already break even. Could you look for a scaling? Maybe if price comes here, which wouldn't be our break even, so that would be fine. And there's actually a form C around the corner. And you know what's pain? We also hit take profit very easy. I'm gonna show you the screenshot, which is the most painful thing I've ever had in my life. Probably. I don't want to exaggerate too much, but you know what I did is I'm gonna show the screenshot. What? Wait, let me find it. It's actually quite funny. I just need to find the time to be honest. Yeah, right here. So wait, let me upload it and show it to you. Let me upload it in the chat. So if you look 470, this also 808. It said 808, but the timestamp is a little bit different. Price goes to 468, which was I put my stop loss a bit above break even because I didn't want to get slipped. Price takes my stop and pumps right up. So that's actually quite painful. Would have made me nice money, but yeah, it is what it is, right? Um, and then what does price do? Price actually doesn't mitigate our PY yet, which is quite painful to see. Maybe it'll mitigate it later on. Uh, yeah, well, after this is not really interested in buying anything, right? Because it's late anyway, so we're gonna wait till Asia. Is this Asia? Yeah, so we're at Asia. And what do we see on the 3 minute? We see a mitigation of this supply right here, right? This is the supply you have. I know it's big, but it's new supply, and it is literally one candle. Could also be finding like this. And what do you see? You see, you actually see these triple highs. So we could see price taking these highs, but yeah, I expect these highs to be taken very soon, and then get a deeper mitigation. Yeah, exactly. So we have these highs getting taken right here, very easy. Now let's see what price is next. We want a chalk flip on the 1 minute, right? We have a chalk flip right here, but I don't think this one would be valid. But we could try it, I guess. Could try a sell. Personally, I wouldn't take this. It's 3 a.m. anyway, so I wouldn't take that. But let's just take the trade, right? Take a 4.5 pip stop. TP at this demand right here, which where we have liquidity as well. If we have another break structure, which shows me that we are going lower indeed. You don't get the tap in inducement, right? Then you get the tap in, very nice. Consolidation. Once this low breaks, I would go break even, right? Very slow actually. Yeah, so once this happens, I would go break even because we also left this double top, right? I mean, we swept liquidity, which is nice, but we left these 3 highs right on along the way, and we are reacting somewhat off a demand that broke structure. So we could see price now retrace back into. That's why I would go break even personally. Um, but as this low would break, then we could see price, you know, go down more. So we're getting stopped at break even. We're still inside the POI, right? We see a sweep. We see a chalk flip on the 1 minute now. Um, would I take this? I would not, because we have been in this supply forever. I mean, like for 6 hours, and London is about the corner. So the London open around the corner. Yeah, see, this is pre-London, so we could see this high getting taken. And if this high gets taken, then I would possibly look for a sell. Damn. So you go that high and you don't collect that high. That's crazy. So the CPI, the FOMC wick doesn't get taken. Damn. That's crazy, bro. What the fuck? Yeah, so I guess they're not taking that. We're gonna keep this demand zone in mind. Alright, we could see potential bounce from here. Uh, we gotta take it like this. Look at the 1 minute, maybe. Yeah. I don't want. Sometimes you don't want to refine too much, especially when it's been a while. We could take like this, that candle with it. And then we have this liquidity as well. So that would be a perfect tap actually. Sweep the liquidity and tap inside demand. Um, so let's see. You want to see the market entry right here. So you're not looking for anything until we come towards this fake bounce, inducement. Okay, there it goes. Um, Sweep liquidity, tap into the demand after this. Probably a 15-second chalk flip, if I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I would have entered right after we broke this high, because you have chalk, right? Stops to be 7 pips. Take profit would be right these high. No, probably this supply zone right here could be a good TP, right? I don't want to aim for too high. Potentially could see price reject from here, but I don't want it to aim too high, right? So I'm happy with a 1 to 3.3. And we could, of course, look for scale-ins if they do happen. So you have, these are not breakout structure, right? Once this high breaks, then, okay, so we have a breakout structure. So we're looking for a scale-in right here, like this, and then take profit like this. Take a 4 pip to make it a little bit more realistic. Nice mitigation. Okay, TP. That's 7R, 8R. Very nice, very nice. Clean continuation setup. Very, very easy. Like, it is actually quite easy. Like, if we be honest, it's actually quite easy. So what do you see right now? We have taken profit. Looking at the 50-minute, what do you see? We have this 50-minute supply right here. Right. Since there's news around the corner, I want to take the supply a little bit bigger since there's news. I would take an entry rate like this, and just because there's news, right? Just because there's news, I want to take this entry. If there was no news, I wouldn't take this entry. And TP, I'm looking right at these lows. Not these lows. I'm actually looking at this since we had that chalk flip right there, right after the demand. So I'm looking at that. Let me take it like this. This is what I'm looking at. So let's see if it hits. Wait, let's actually move on the 50-minute maybe. There's your fill. consolidation a little bit. This is a live market. What the fuck? Uh, well, yeah. I guess we could. We're gonna take one low rollovers. I don't know. So right here, 1 to 5. Yeah, that's a 1 to 5 right here. Very nice setup. Very clean. Um, just because news, I guess. Yeah. It's not a gamble, right? Because we know that price was gonna dump a little anyway. What do you have tomorrow? No, yeah, tomorrow's gonna be crazy. Let's see if we can predict tomorrow. To be honest, NFP. If price comes here at NFP, I'm buying. If it comes here, I'm selling. Kind of like that. We'll see. I'll let you guys know though. But that'll be backtesting for today. That was actually a good session though. We had one stop, I think, and the rest was the TP. So yeah, that's very good. So yeah. I mean, Mark, you're the only one. Thanks for coming, bro. Nobody else came, but it's fine. It's recorded anyway, so 55 minutes. That's 1 hour session. Very nice. I hope you guys enjoyed. See you tomorrow at new backtesting session. Tomorrow evening, hopefully. But yeah, thanks for coming, bro. Peace out.